When I was a sophomore in high school, I used to bring a portable TV set and I had my bag lunch and I would ditch all my classes and go over to the music room and hang out in one of the rooms and just play guitar all day. Until one day my teacher came in and he got wind of what I was doing and he sent me right to the principal's office. And the principal said, "You're going to do Saturday school." And I was like, ugh. So I went to Saturday school and there was a guy behind me and I go, "What are you listening to back there?" And he said, "Oh, I'm checking out Pink Floyd." And I said, "Oh." So I knew who Pink Floyd was. I'd heard Another Brick in the Wall and I've heard some of their other stuff, but I didn't know their back catalog. So he goes, "You want to check it out?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd be great." So he handed me his tape and it was Pink Floyd Animals. And I was blown away. Like it was so cinematic and David Gilmour's guitar playing was amazing. And I just fell in love with the band right then and there. So fast forward 20 years later, I'm on stage with Joe touring with him and we're playing Turn to Stone, which totally reminded me of that era of Pink Floyd. And every night I got to hear him play. And like David Gilmour, Joe is a master of phrasing. I got to watch him play every night, which was like a master class. I got to see how he built his solos, how he did it thematically, how he'd start from the low end of the guitar and make his way up until the end where he was like really just on his screaming high notes. And it really showed me a lot. Like I learned a lot just by listening to him every night. I want to show you everything I learned from Joe, and hopefully some of these ideas will end up in your guitar playing. So let's take a look at thematic melodic development. Now when Joe would start his solo, he was starting the lower end of his guitar. We're going to start in the 3rd fret. Now we're in the key of D minor, so our first phrase is going to be this. So now what do we do with that? Well, I think the next thing we do is we can add upon that. So we'll take the same phrase, but maybe add a little extra something to the end of it. So like this. So you can see I'm taking that phrase and I'm developing it. I'm adding little bits and pieces. That keeps the listener interested. They know where it's going. So now we're going to end up on the 5th fret and keep developing from there. One thing I want to add too is don't be afraid of the element of surprise. Maybe play a note that they wouldn't expect or that maybe you wouldn't expect. You know, take it outside of the norm. You know, sometimes we get caught up in phrases that sound super normal, right? Which is fine, but let's try to surprise the listener. Like that's the way Jeff Beck would play. That's what made him so special, is that when he would solo, he would take notes that you wouldn't expect. Also, don't be afraid of repetition. Set up higher. So you can see how I'm developing a solo. I'm taking it from the lowest point of the guitar and bringing it to the highest, and I'm just trying to develop phrases. There's 2 scales I'm using here, and this will be the language we work from. I'm using a Dorian scale, which will be on the 10th fret. I'm using a minor pentatonic. And I'm kind of interspersing those scales together. Now I'm going to do a lesson that covers all of that. It's going to cover all the modes and what you can do with it. But for today, let's just work with 2 different scales. And that'll be the arc in which we can improvise from. So what do we do with these 2 scales? Well, there's a lot you can do. And I always talk about intentionality and techniques. And if you listen to guys like David Gilmour, it's all about their phrasing and it's all about their tone. Tone matters, of course. How they use their vibrato. How they bend notes. Like Joe loves to do bends where you'll already be at the top of the note coming down. That's a great little lick. You know, if you're in D minor, that's real effective. So those kind of licks can be really cool and emotive and effective. You hear a lot of blues players do that. Another one is... Now that's a great lick, and we know that's Jimmy Page, Joe Walsh, all the great guitar players do that lick. So let me show you that one real quick, because that's a fun one to add to your solos. So that's a huge bend. We're going to start in the 15th fret on the B string, and then we're going to go to the 18th fret, and we're going to do a huge bend. There it is. Then we're going to go to the, where am I at? Then we're going to go to the 17th fret on the E string, and we're going to bend up. Another high bend. We're going to go 17th fret, 16th fret, and 15th fret. Back to the 18th fret to the 15th fret with a pull off on the B string. So the reason I'm showing these kind of licks, and these are just a couple, but the reason I'm showing you these is so that you can add them to your own guitar playing. Everybody has their own taste. For me, I like fast guitar players, but I also like bluesy guitar players too. So I try to encompass what I like into my own guitar playing. I think the same goes for you guys out there. Try to find things that you gravitate towards. When I was younger, I was listening to guitar players like George Benson, Pat Metheny, Jeff Beck, even metal players like the guys from Rat, Warren DeMartini. And, I was listening to everything, and it was all seeping into my guitar playing. And that's the great thing about music. The more we listen to, the more it gets in us. And that's why I really think it's a great idea to listen to other styles of music, like listen to jazz. Check out Miles Davis. He's a master at phrasing. He's another one who leaves a lot of space. And that brings me up to another point. The thing I love about Joe Walsh, when I heard him solo every night, is the use of space. He let themes develop. He wouldn't just jump into something real quick. He'd go, then he let it sit there for a second, and then he would jump back into something else. Same phrase. And David Gilmour does that too. When I heard those solos on Animals, there was a lot of space and a lot of melodic development. So when you listen to these guitar players, you're hearing so many different things. You're hearing their tone, you're hearing their technique, and their intentionality. So I'm going to play over this chord progression again, trying to utilize everything we spoke about in this lesson. And I hope you hear how I'm developing themes and utilizing the licks that I've learned from the masters.